One of the most interesting conversations I've had with an older person was with my grandfather, who is now in his late 80s. This conversation took place about 6 months ago during a family gathering at my parents' house. It was a relaxed evening, and we were sitting together in the living room when we started talking about how life has changed over the years. During the conversation, my grandfather shared his experiences of growing up during a time when technology was nowhere near what it is today. He spoke about how, as a young boy, he lived in a rural village where electricity wasn't common, and people relied on oil lamps for light in the evenings. He also talked about how transportation was much slower, with most people traveling on bicycles or on foot. He shared stories about attending school, which was a real challenge back then, with very few resources available. Listening to him explain how he and his classmates wrote with chalk on slates rather than using modern notebooks made me realize how different our worlds are. What made the conversation truly interesting was when we discussed how rapid technological advancements have transformed the way we live, work, and communicate. My grandfather expressed amazement at how we can now talk to someone across the globe in real time or access any information instantly with just a smartphone. He also shared his thoughts on how people used to value face-to-face interactions much more and how, in his view, modern society seems to have become a little too dependent on technology. What I found most fascinating about the conversation was how much wisdom and perspective my grandfather had. Despite the vast differences in the world he grew up in and the one we live in now, he was able to appreciate both the advantages and challenges of modern life. He didn't criticize the changes, but rather, he reflected on how society has adapted. This discussion gave me a deeper understanding of how far we've come as a society and made me appreciate the conveniences we often take for granted today. Overall, this conversation was memorable because it was a rare opportunity to hear firsthand how much the world has changed from someone who has witnessed it all. It was both eye-opening and thought-provoking, and I left the conversation feeling more connected to the past.